give some people opportunity to come on. Good morning, Dale. As you're coming on, please share the video. Hey, Destiny. This month on Mental Health Monday, we are featuring, hey, Deetra, we are featuring African Americans, Black psychologists, or people who work in the field of counseling who have had significant or played significant roles in the advancement of psychology and counseling. So this morning, we're going to share about a couple of trailblazers. Good morning, Tara. And so as you're coming in, please share the video. I will share about a couple of trailblazers, and then we'll share some community resources for your benefit that you can access that are African American owned and operated. So when you get a chance, check those out after Mental Health Monday is completed. So give a couple people some time to come on. So I think it's very important for us to highlight, with this being Black History Month, I don't think that we should just wait till Black History Month to highlight those who have made advancements in this field. But I think it's very important that because it is set aside time for us to really acknowledge those who have made advancements in this field, that we actually do. So it's been my goal this month to do that. Today, we're going to be sharing about Kenneth Bancroft Clark and Beverly Daniel Tatum. Those are two people who have made advancements in the field of psychology and counseling. So I'm going to give a couple of people more time to come on. Please share video as you're coming on. Thank you so much for coming on this morning. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I hope you're ready to start an awesome week. I hope that you have plans to be as productive as you possibly can this week. So a couple more people some time to come on as we're sharing this morning. While we're waiting for those people, I wanted to inquire about, I always like to do a check-in with those who have been watching Mental Health Monday and have been actively participating and sharing. I want you to always keep in mind the importance of managing your mental health well and taking care of yourselves. I want to check in with you while we're waiting for a couple more people to come in. Tell me what you have, some things you've been doing since the beginning of the year to better manage your mental health while we're waiting for a couple more people to come in. And you guys, y'all can hop right in. Whoever's on here can hop right in. Anybody want to share some things you've been doing this year so far? Okay, well, one of the things that I have been doing is trying to be more intentional about exercise and taking better care of my body. Last year, many of you saw me, I was a little bit heavier, which is okay. I mean, I'm not down on myself about my weight. I typically try to stay away from self-defeating thoughts or ideas about my weight. But I definitely noticed a change in my operation, my function, when I did not exercise and eat better regularly. So I just wanted to do better with it. So I started exercising. I started going to the gym regularly. I started drinking more water, less bread, less sweets. I would only eat like bread and sweets on the weekends, maybe, as a treat to myself. So, all right. So that's one thing that I did to take care of myself better. So let's go and talk about Dr. Kenneth Bancroft Clark. Kenneth Bancroft Clark. He was an American psychologist. He was born in the Panama Canal Zone in 1914, and he passed away in 2005. He conducted research on the impact of racial segregation on children. He and his wife, Mamie Phipps Clark, administered the doll test to African American school children in the 1940s and 50s, and they would present children with a black doll and a white doll, and they would then ask the child which doll they preferred. And many of the children that they gave the dolls to preferred the white doll by a wide margin, with the children mostly identifying the black doll as somehow bad. So his research played a key role in arguments in the Brown versus Board of Education case. And in that case, we know was found to be segregation was found to be unconstitutional. So he helped to develop an integrationist educational policies for both federal and state government, meaning that all schooling had to be done together, no matter what the race. So he established several institutions in his life, including the Northside Child Development Center in Harlem, and that was meant to foster the positive identity and improved opportunities for African Americans. He was also very active during the Civil Rights Movement and wrote extensively about the plight of African Americans in that time in urban slums. He was committed to integration and strongly opposed to black and white separatists. Later in his life, he expressed his disappointment in the United States not having made greater progress with racial relations. One of the things that I like about this particular figure, this giant, this heavy hitter, is that he highlighted something that's still very prevalent now, which is the idea that one race is better than the other, one culture is better than the other because of skin color. Now, we all know that we were created differently. All of us have different backgrounds. All of us have different social exposure. We all have different experiences that we bring to the table when we talk about our culture. So one of the things that he was trying to do was show that, hey, just because someone's skin is a certain color does not mean that they deserve to be treated better or less than because of their color. So I really am an advocate for self-empowerment, improvement. And just imagine how many children in that era went on to then teach their children the wrong ideas about what the color of their skin meant. Just imagine that. I can only imagine how many children in that age, because they felt that way, went on to teach their children in unhealthy and inappropriate things about who they were because of the color of their skin. So shout out to Dr. Kenneth Bancroft Clark and his wife, Mamie Phipps Clark. I also want to highlight this morning Dr. Beverly Tatum. Dr. Beverly Tatum she's an instructor. She's actually president emeritus of Spelman College, and she is the distinguished visitor of the Mimi and Peter E. Haas organization at the Haas Center for Public Service at Stanford. She is the author of several books, including Why Are All Black Kids Sitting Together in the Cafeteria and other conversations about race. She also has been known as a thought leader in higher education and was the recipient of Carnegie Academic Leadership Award and the 2014 recipient of the American Psychological Association Award for outstanding lifetime contributions to psychology. Okay, so let's go back and look at a little bit of her work and see what did she actually contribute to the field of psychology. Okay. She, as far as her contribution to the field, she conducted research and wrote books on the topic of racism, and she focused specifically on race in education, racial identity development in teenagers, and the assimilation of Black families and youth in white neighborhoods. She uses works from her students, personal experiences, and psychology teaching to continue her educating of others of the community. So her focus was also on racial identity. She had a lot of work that she did in that area. So her work also seemed to be focused on desegregation, teaching and highlighting the need for conversation about race, emphasizing that racial segregation in schools is still happening. So she and Dr. Clark kind of had the same idea with regard to desegregation and having a healthy idea of who we are. So those are the two key figures that I wanted to highlight for today's Mental Health Monday.